Alright, so we're about to finish this video. This is part 2. 9 horror stories animated compilation. Instagram link, Twitter link, donation link in the description below. Thank y'all for donating. Thank y'all for supporting me as usual. I hope y'all watched the first episode. It was getting me the heebie-jeebies, you know what I'm saying? So now we're gonna watch the rest of this one. Let's go ahead and get to it. One of them we already saw already.
When I was around 14 years old, I always went on the internet, and I had this app called Discord. After a while of having Discord, I met a boy named Luke. We started talking for a while, and one day, he asked me what I looked like.
Throw that back, girl.
Without thinking, I sent him a picture of me. He told me that
Yikes.
I just said thanks, thinking nothing of it. Around a week later, he told me that he loved me, and I felt the same way about him. We had so much in common. Luke was very good looking too. He had a different style from normal people. He wore a mask and always wore the color black. A while later, I realized it started becoming
If he's wearing a mask,
too
that's not
much
someone you
for
can
me.
trust.
He would always ask me personal questions like where I lived, and I told him I lived in California. He also lived in California and said he wanted to run away and meet me. He said that our relationship was so overprotective and would text me every few minutes. I decided to close all the windows and make sure that the doors were locked. I sat in my living room and watched some TV. After around 20 minutes, I heard a knocking sound coming from the window behind me.
The window?
I realized I didn't pull the blinds over it and that some kids were probably playing tricks on me. I got up and went to the window. I looked out the window and no one was there. So I just switched from Luke. He said, "Let's meet up now." I told him I was busy and that I couldn't, but he said that I wasn't, scaring me because I was home alone, which I really shouldn't have told him.
You should not have said
I
that.
asked him how he knew where I lived, and he told me that he looked on Snapchat and found my exact
Turn it
location
off.
so he could meet.
That's exactly what I'm talking about. That's exactly what I'm talking about. I just spit in my mouth. Don't worry about it. That's exactly what I'm talking about. You turn off your Snapchat locations. Like, that's not cool. I don't need you knowing where I'm at all times. The government does that already. I don't need you knowing where I'm at. Oh, I'm about to get mad at y'all. That's her fault. So if she dies in this story, it's her fault. I'm not gonna say I don't feel bad, but I'm not gonna feel too bad.
Boy, that escalated quickly.
I mean, you play with the boy. You want stupid prizes? I don't know.
Up with me whenever he wanted.
The dude stalked her.
I was so afraid. I heard a knock on the door.
That's it.
So attractive, and I knew that it had to be Luke. I stayed still. I finally got up and opened the door.
She's
There
stupid.
he was, standing there, ever so tall. He smiled and bit his lip and invited himself in.
How she know he bit his lip if he had a mask
Several
on?
times to leave, but he didn't listen. Then he went quiet, and I tapped his back. He ripped his mask. I didn't even care. Then he smiled creepily and ran downstairs to the kitchen, and I ran after him. He was holding a knife and then ran after me. I ran outside, hid in the bushes, and called 911 as fast as I could. The police arrived quickly. They found him. But what was even more creepy was that he smirked at me when they took him into their car. I never want to stay home alone again. It creeps me out. I deleted Discord and blocked him before I did. Having an internet boyfriend will haunt me forever. And I will never forget the creepy smirk he gave me.
She's stupid. She's stupid. That's all I got for you.
It's that simple.
Back when I was 21 years old, I was a strategic firearms commander. This meant that I led a team into dangerous situations that oftentimes involves hostages or civilians who carried guns or other deadly weapons. I had a second-in-command firearms commander working beside me. His name was Callum, and he was my best friend. We always hung out outside of work, and while on duty, he would always joke around and make us crack a smile, even when we were dealing with pretty distressful stuff. We once had a case where a man had possession of a firearm, and we were assigned to take care of it. We'll stop. When the rest of the team reached the scene, the man was already shot. Callum still had the gun in his hand.
Damn.
Soon after, I asked Callum
That's weird.
why he was so eager to do it. And then he said he had no specific reason. He was just excited. I believed him because he was my best friend.
Yeah.
Later on, when I was looking at the man who was shot, I looked at another investigation. I realized that there were thousands of messages sent between the two where Callum read on purpose, but I had no way of proving it. He was taken to court and was sentenced to 3 years in jail for perverting the court of justice. I testified against him and was no longer his friend.
I bet.
When I was 24 years old, I was still on the firearms team. All that happened with Callum was behind me, and I was happy with my life. One night I went home really late after work. As I walked to my apartment, I realized that it was trashed. I called the police and they reported it, but there was not much they could do because I didn't have a CCTV. As I got into bed, I saw that there was a note on my bedside table. All it said was, "Remember me?" I instantly recognized Callum's handwriting.
I'd be like, let's do
When he was
it.
out of prison, I thought that he would move on with his life.
Nope, you're
I
wrong.
was so wrong.
You put him there.
This was his revenge. The next day, I went to the underground
Let's run this
parking
home.
lot and I saw that my windscreen was smashed. It was clear that he wasn't over me testifying against him. Soon after, I also saw him near my apartment. I ran after him, but he ignored me and ran away. I tried calling his old number, but it was no longer in service. Then an envelope was sent through my door, and it contained hundreds of photos of me at work, home, and even out with my girlfriend at clubs and restaurants.
Dang.
These were all taken very recently. The last one, though, was a picture of Callum and I from years ago, and on the other side, written with a big red marker were the words, "You're dead."
Oh, that's it.
I reported this as stalking and hoped he would end up back in prison. The police had gone to his listed address, but there was no one there. In fact, all of his bags were packed. I knew he was still in the area somewhere, though. One day I was by myself in an unmarked car, and I saw this Toyota Yaris, and it was driving close behind me. It was my gut instinct to get the plate number checked, and I was going to. But then I got a Priority 1 announcement on the radio saying there was a crazy man on a bus who had a knife and stabbed someone. I turned on my sirens and blue lights and headed to the accident. As I got on, I was about to leave the bus, I heard a loud bang, and a man on the bus fell down. He was shot through the window by a man who was wearing a black hoodie.
Oh.
He immediately ran. I ran out of the bus and went to the boot of my car. I got my MP5 SF out. They gave me an order of critical shot, which meant I could shoot to kill the suspect. He ran through the town center and went to the left. I was worried about public safety as he had a large rifle as well.
Oh.
I realized instead of running after him, I needed to get on a roof and shoot down. I went to this building that had views of the right and left. It took me 5 minutes, and I was worried that he would have run away by now.
Right?
As I got to the roof, I turned my gun to the sniper level. I used the eyepiece to scan, and I saw a man in a black hoodie running. I fired a shot, and he fell to the ground. By the time I got there, more armed policemen came to the area in the car behind me, and that shot in the bus was meant for me. But he missed. Callum was dead. I felt sad, but also relieved work. I'm still working in the force.
Dang. That was a good one. I actually like that. It wasn't scary, but it was a good one. I like that one. It had action, I guess.
In the 1970s.
I need some action. I'm done.
To be exact, it was November 23rd, 1971.
That's
I was
insane.
20 years old at the time and was really down on my luck. I was living in Portland, but I'm from Seattle, and I'll be going home very soon. I had lost my job and was about to be evicted from my apartment because I couldn't pay the rent.
Damn, life.
I would be flying back home to stay with my parents until I could find a new job or somehow get the money for my apartment, which would be very unlikely. I had one night left in my apartment before leaving. I didn't feel like staying home, so I decided to go for a walk and have a drink in a bar. On my way to the bar, I stopped at a convenience store and purchased a lottery ticket. I walked down the street and entered a nearby bar, where I ordered myself a beer. Not long after that, a man came inside and sat next to me and ordered a drink. We got to talking about life and just general conversation when he mentioned he was going to a flight the next day to Seattle. I laughed and asked him, "Wait, flight 305? He laughed and said, "Yeah, that's the one." He asked me why I was heading there. I told him I had money troubles, and coincidentally, he said the same thing.
That's a weird
He seemed
coincidence.
like a nice guy. We talked for about another hour. I was about to leave the bar myself shortly after that when I heard over the TV that the lottery numbers would be announced. I decided to stay and check if I had won. Why not? And would you believe it? I won $15,000. Of course, I was beyond belief with shock. And of course, I wouldn't need to go back home because I had money now. The next day, I saw something on the news that a flight had been hijacked and the plane was being held at ransom.
What?
It was the same flight I was going to be on.
What?
And I couldn't believe it, but the sketch of the guy they described who took the flight hostage was the exact. If you didn't know, he threatened to explode the plane with a bomb unless he got $200,000, which he did, then jumped out of the plane with the money and parachute and was never seen again. I didn't know why, but I never said anything to anyone. Even if I could, it's not like I knew his real name. It was such a scary coincidence that I needed money, and then I got some. It's strange how everything works out in life.
That's a weird coinky dink. That is a weird coinky dink. It's only the music that really makes those stories scary. Like, the background music has an eerie sound and a scary horror sound. If I'd have told the exact same story, just like me talking to y'all, I'm pretty sure it wouldn't have seemed scary. Like, I'm pretty sure. It's just because of the music. And the animation's kind of funky looking, but you know what I mean. Hey, it's better than I could draw. I'll tell you that right now. Hey! Y'all like and subscribe. Instagram link, Twitter link, donation link in the description below. Thank y'all for donating and following me on Instagram and Twitter. I greatly appreciate y'all. I see y'all. Apparently there's a fan chat now. Hey, y'all be careful out here, man. People out here crazy. People out here tripping. Anyway, I'm done. Adios. Sayonara. See you later. She's stupid. That's all I got for you.